Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Jay?
Here.
Patricia?
Here.
Eric?
Yep.
Ezekiel?
Here.
Courtney? Here. Justin?
Here.
Okay, I need the approval of the January 5th, 2026 council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Eric, motion, second.
Second.
Jay?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the January 5th, 2026 public hearing minutes for the Walnut Creek variance. Motion.
Motion.
Dustin, second.
Second.
Courtney, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the January 5th, 2026 public hearing minutes for Lot 7 variance. Motion. I make a motion. Tricia,
Second.
second by Zeke. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the January 5th public hearing meeting minutes for the rezoning from R3 to PRD. Motion.
Motion.
Eric,
Second.
Courtney. Oh, sorry, Zeke. All in favor?
Aye.
First up is the mayor's report. I think I heard back there, I think everybody signed up for the new council training class on February 21st. Should be getting information soon on that. I did get a response from ODOT. I did reach out to them about Welch and 762. And since there have only been 3 reported crashes in the last 6 years, all resulting in property damage, that intersection is not a good candidate for them to step in and do anything. So, unfortunately, that drops that idea.
Right.
I do want to thank the Scioto Township trustees for stepping up when our snowplows went down in the middle of a storm. We called them, I called Ronnie and said, can you help us out? And they said yes. They made paths for emergency vehicles to go through. The following day, we contracted with a company to come and help us. They worked like 5.5 hours into the night. And then Mike continued once we got the smaller plow fixed, and he is continuing today. Village administrator updated me that we are going to have them come out and relieve a couple of the developments that are worse with standing snow, to kind of remove the snow and take that down to the water plant. So that's going to take place tomorrow. We had an unprecedented amount of snow. I was in Columbus today in a development, and the snow was 3 or 4 feet off the curb. I mean, it's just, I think everybody that helped did the best they could do. I appreciate all the help that we did get. And I just say, give us a little time to get things cleared up. And I'll let Dave finish speaking when it's his time. That's all I had. Village solicitor?
2 things. We had a hearing down in Circleville on Mr. Isiev, and he informed the court that he would be hiring someone to meet with Jim and go out and mark the property and take down the offending structure, so as to not have a second offense on his head. And this Wednesday, Chief, along with 2 of his officers, will be down in Circleville with me on the Beck's Garage noise complaint from June of this year, which is finally coming to trial. Finally, the mayor and I have been talking about doing a potential retreat with all council members to kind of set an agenda for a 2, 4, 5-year plan, whatever it may be. Discuss just some general items and kind of get together to set priorities for the next 1.5 or 2 years. If you all have an appetite to give up a Saturday morning, the mayor and I are both willing to give up a Saturday morning, free of charge, to sit down and have a retreat to kind of go through council rules, the administrative rules, a little bit deeper dive into the budget, how things operate, why things operate, have Jim talk, have the administrator talk, kind of get a feel for how things work around here. Most villages do something like this every 2, 3, 4 years, just to kind of reset. So if there is an appetite for it, contact the mayor, contact me, and list some agenda items, some to-do things that you think that you'd like to hear from legal, from accounting, from fiscal, from management, from police, from zoning, and we'll set it up, get an agenda, we'll get the right speakers in and the right topics mentioned, and it's kind of a good stepping off point for all the new members, to kind of get a little deeper understanding of how the village really operates. So that's all I have.
Alright, police chief's report.
I'll have the activities to you all by the next meeting, or committee of the whole. Is it 2 council meetings now a month, is that right?
And a committee of the whole,
And committee?
right before the second.
Okay,
As of now.
okay. So, well, by the next meeting, you'll have the monthly activities. With that said, I also want to let you all know that with the one opening we have on the police department, actually talked the candidate I've interviewed for the position and everything, did well, working on his background. It's just about completed. He actually went and completed his polygraph today. So my goal is have him in place within the next couple weeks. He'll still have to go through a psychological evaluation, then for the physical evaluation for the OPNF retirement. But so far, everything's looking good on him.
And this is to replace the non-confirmed officer, or was this an open spot? I can't remember.
To where the non-confirmed.
Okay.
So they'll put us back up. Right now, our number's supposed to be 9, that's including myself, so they'll put us back to 9.
Thank you.
Okay. Village administrators report.
Good evening, all. Hope everybody had a uneventful week. We did not here. So, obviously, we've had a rather large snow event, and it's been taxing on not just us, but a lot of other communities as well. So, we've had some equipment go down. A lot of other communities have had some equipment go down, so we're kind of all in the same boat, so to speak. And again, Sauter Township came through for us and had mutual aid, which is fantastic, greatly appreciated. We did contract with an outside private firm to assist in that and get us caught up. Now one thing I do want to point out is we had a total of 41 hours of overtime for our employees. One of those was our street department, the other one was actually for a water and utility employee. And actually our small plow unit does belong to the water utility, not to the street department. So it's kind of what we're trying to get build up on the street department a little bit. We also had our large case tractor, which is a 100 horsepower tractor. It was damaged as well. We tried to plow it. So it's in the shop right now as well, getting fixed. So our large truck is in the shop as well. Starting tomorrow morning, the same contractor that helped us overnight will be coming here tomorrow morning to take care of 2 of our worst subdivisions to actually physically remove the snow, just what the mayor had stated. So that'll begin tomorrow morning. In our street department, we'll continue cleaning around the curbs and getting the storm drops exposed when they start melting. And we will hopefully get everything smooth and we'll have the flooding issue along the streets. Okay?
Can I ask a question about that point?
Absolutely.
Jay and I were actually discussing that exact thing before the meeting.
Mhm.
If we get a rain event, are you already going to broken up the ice for water to go in, or Will it have to wait until the water melts the ice that's there, and what's the plan
So,
to do that? If you
as things melt, normally we don't have a flash melting event. It's pretty gradual, and there's enough flow through the streets where they fall, to have fall. And then they'll gather in, and they, normally, the storm drops will collect all that without any issue, because they're properly sized that way.
But even the ones that we have, are we gonna take all the extra snow away from the curb
Today,
gutters or whatever they're called?
so starting today and continuing throughout the week, he will continue working and get as close as he can to the curb lines and expose those storm drops so that the storm water, once it falls, will go away.
And that's not something that we can do with our Bobcat, right?
No. I mean, it is possible to do that, but normally the salt and and just the plowing action will skim that away, okay?
Wonderful, thank you.
Now, if we do have problem areas that it can be addressed like that, sure, we do have that option, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I have noticed when I travel through some of the subdivision phases that I have last week, there has been some instances where the homeowners have actually went out and exposed out those storm drops for us. So hats off to them. I really appreciate that. We are continuing the grant application for the brine through the Ohio EPA, and that's not a reimbursement grant. That is a complete grant that we would have to wait on to get, if we get approved and awarded that, then we would order that equipment, okay? So that's not something we can order today and have sitting using it, because then if we do that, and it's obviously kind of late in the season now to order that stuff anyway, so. As far as the water and wastewater utilities, this is our first winter with the new wastewater plant equipment. And there was a large concern from all of us down there about how it's going to react with the extreme temperatures. So far, we have not had any issues. Now, we're still have some extreme weather events coming, so we'll continue to monitor those things and we'll see how it goes throughout the whole season. And I think I've hit everything.
What percent is that up to?
I'm sorry?
What percentage of use is that new plant up to? I know we've had, it's a ramp up time, but.
For the wastewater plant, as far as capacity?
Yeah,
Okay, so right now, so the plant itself is rated at 1.4 million gallons a day.
Yeah.
That's a biological load, okay? So far, we're taking in a ballpark, 400 to 500,000 gallons per day currently. In the summertime, let me back up. In the springtime, when we get a lot of heavy rains, then it will probably go closer to a million. Just depends, okay? But we're still fine because the hydraulic capacity is far above the 1.4 million. Okay, so we're set on that. It's the water plant that we're itchy about right now, so. And we're continuing to work on the water plant wells now. We've got, the consultant in line now to start working as far as the east well field, which is the old original one, and see how far we can improve that before we move any farther.
Can I wanted to ask a question about the grant.
Yes.
So there was some mention in our budget meeting of getting a new plow.
Yes.
If we move forward with that, would we wait until the grant came through to put the most updated equipment into that new plow, or would we order it with all of the equipment for the previous configuration and then have to replace that?
Okay, so the answer to your question is, the new equipment we had in the budget for a new truck, that is going to be a totally secondary unit. In addition to this, what we're trying to get for the grant. We get the stuff for the grant, we're gonna have one truck that will be set up for brine application. Because it's typically a faster process to brine roads than it is to salt and plow.
Okay.
Okay, so we can go through and brine in about almost a day with one truck. But when you go through and try to plow and salt, then you're talking about a slower process and talking about more vehicles involved. So I guess in a roundabout way, what we're asking for in the budget is a completely new separate machine that can be set up for brine, but mainly its focus will be salt and plowing. And then we have a smaller truck that we're trying to outfit for brine that can maneuver more so through the smaller streets. Okay?
Thank you for explaining that.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes.
What are the two subdivisions that will have the excessive snow
Oh,
removal?
yes, so Chestnut Estates is the largest one that has the most problems, and also Scioto Crossing. Okay, that's the ones we're gonna focus on
Commons
first.
too. just
Commons, I'm
States
sorry.
Commons.
Commons, yes,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
thank you.
Is that because of the configuration of the development, or?
Not necessarily, it could be that maybe the streets are a little wider, and so there was more snow that got removed. It can be just the way the wind blew in a direction. Chestnut is out in the middle of more farm fields, and so it gets a lot coming in from the north and the west.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, thank you.
any other questions for anybody?
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Village engineers report.
Hello, thank you, Mayor. I do have a few things I want to update everyone on. So we have received Foxfire Phase 5 construction plans, and we're in the process of reviewing those. That Phase 5 portion would be the northernmost. So we have existing Foxfire, it's the land that's to the north of what's there currently, and it's right around 150 additional lots. Belshazzar, so Belshazzar Street, the construction plans, we have submitted those to the village, and they're in the process of being reviewed. That's for the street and the storm sewer upgrades. And Chestnut Commons, we did meet with the village administration. We presented our stormwater model. We talked through some different options. We kind of decided on what makes the most sense. So our next step is to meet with Mr. Stevens, who's the adjacent property owner to Chestnut Commons. Present that to him, get his thoughts, his opinions, and then we will meet with the HOA after him. So I think we have a meeting next week with Mr. Stevens, and then we'll meet with the HOA.
Mr. Thompson?
Oh,
Steve Thompson.
Steve Thompson,
Yes.
sorry, thank
That's
you,
okay.
I'm sorry.
I was trying to figure out who's.
My bad. I think that's all I have. So questions?
Could you kind of elaborate on what the plans are like the planned improvements are?
For Chestnut Commons, I can, so essentially, it'd be the northwesternmost pond. At a large rain event, it's getting inundated with water from the farm field. So we're looking at ways that we can make improvements to capture that water and to redirect it to help prevent the erosion that those homeowners that are on the edge between Mr. Steve Thompson and their property. So there's one option that would improve storm sewer throughout the entire subdivision. That's the most costly.
Of course.
The next would be just two locations where we can improve the storm sewer, existing storm sewer, and it essentially gets you the same result. So that's really the preferred. And then the third, it would tackle some of the erosion, but it's not going to handle those 10-year storm events, which the village standards is we design to a 10-year storm. So that's the desired, I guess, treatment that we want to go with. So we were looking at that middle option, and that's what we intend to present to the adjacent homeowner. Thank you.
And the village will be paying for this, or it will be split, but is that what we're kind of meeting with them to figure out how that's gonna pan out?
So we would like to have maybe a little bit of property from the adjacent owner to make this improvement even better. If they're not willing, we'll go back to the drawing, to the table and figure out a new option. But ideally, we're meeting with the adjacent owner because we'd like to have a small strip of property to help tackle that drainage issue.
Thank you. Municipal Officers Report? Oh, I see, Jim, I'm sorry. Did you have anything from that?
No.
Okay. Zoning administrator. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, we do realize that the snow and everything else is making it somewhat impossible. Do some of the inspections unless they have tall stakes where I can see them. So that's slowed way down. The other thing is, I'd like to talk to you about, I know there's gonna be some issues with the new zoning book, and I'd like to be involved in that, since I'm gonna have to enforce that. So when this committee starts meeting, please invite me to that. Okay? And the third item, and I was talking with him about this, about the restaurant, is there are, in between the pond and the building, there is a small parking area. And I was talking about making that street, rather than a two-way street going between those lanes, making one way up and one way out. Because it's gonna get real crowded. It's real narrow if you measure it out, real narrow within that area, and it's just gonna be hard to pass two cars through there. With having 22-foot parking spots, and then a narrow area for the two cars to pass each other. If you put like my truck in there, it's over 22 feet, so that's gonna stick out even further. So, those are it for me. Any questions? It's gonna be easy now, isn't it? Okay. Thank you.
Jim. Legislative reports. Courtney?
No.
Ezekiel?
No.
Patricia?
No.
Eric?
Nothing this time.
Dustin?
Nothing.
Jay?
No.
Okay. Committee reports. I don't think we've done anything with the land use
I
committee.
do actually. I just want to announce that we're going to meet on our first one, February 18th at 6 p.m. We'll make sure that we get the agenda and items out for public disbursement.
You said the 18th?
It should be a Wednesday, I believe.
And then at that meeting, you'll get a whole year's worth of
Yes.
meetings.
Yep, we'll have that to finalize before we finish that day.
Okay. Thank you. Have nobody signed up for public comments, so we're going to move forward with business items. Road closure for April 5th, for the Easter egg hunt. I originally put 15 on there because I did wrong. This is something we do every year, for Jim Albright, who does the Easter egg hunt. So I just need a motion to approve that road closure.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Jay, Courtney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Road closure for August 8th for the car show and outdoor concert that they have in the downtown area.
Discussion.
Motion for,
I talked to Jim yesterday, and last year it seemed like it was a little bit too crowded. So I asked him, what about taking it further down Cyrus to allow it to come out? Because on the north end of Front Street, they had to park so close.
for the car show part.
Yeah, even my chair wouldn't go through, and some of the guys were complaining. And I also wondered if we wanted to, I guess, do a trial run. And I asked Jim, and he said if the village was doing it, he'd think it would be great to, on that day, try the Dora. Because we know what to expect with the car show. And if the village sponsored it, that it would be more of a test case for us to even see if we want to keep that as an option on the books. It would be, because we close actually more than what the door is. And it would give us a good test case. The chief already has a lot of people here on that day. And the only additional expenditure to the village could possibly be maybe some overtime if we, end up needing more people. But, I mean, that could tell us it's something we don't want, and we just say the door is gone. Or if it works out, we'll have information that we may need to ask an applicant, the things we have never thought about. Maybe we run into something like, oh crap, we didn't think about that. But that way, if it's, I don't want to say a failure because I know everybody will have a great time, but if there are problems, it's a village problem. It's not somebody from the public being a guinea pig for the village. He said he would love that as long as he's not the one
I know, he doesn't want
applying
the
for
Dora.
it. Well, yesterday he
doesn't
told
want-
me,
He doesn't want responsibility. for it.
Correct.
I don't know if the village would want responsibility for something that we're not
we're
paying
gonna have
for.
responsibility anytime the door is in effect.
We're not.
And
Were
that-
both bars gonna participate?
It would be open so they could if they want.
I think we need to get some kind of, something from the bar saying they're gonna participate so that they at least try to get the people organized, so we're not the only ones doing it, but they need to have their classes.
Well, no, I mean, they would have to do all that. All we do is say it's open, it's up to
I
them.
understand.
And that's just to bring it up for discussion, and if it's something not everybody's interested in, then he didn't ask for it, I just thought it would be a great.
I don't think this is.
Eric, how does that liability issue carry forward? So if it's you say if it's sponsored by the village, so this road closure would be basically
No.
null and void because it wouldn't be
Just-
there.
Nope, just the door.
So you're just looking
Just the door
for-
is enacted by the village. The
So-
event,
Who's theirs?
that's something separate, because that's a different application.
I'm sorry, what is the Dora?
It, designated outdoor,
refreshment
area.
refreshment
Like-
area.
people can just,
Drink.
Walk around with drinks,
Yeah.
basically,
And I know
outside.
another thing that he mentioned, because we're talking about a car show. We're talking about old cars.
Yeah.
And that's another thing why he didn't want the door, because people be drinking and maybe fall into a car. Dan, you just don't know.
I
So-
I just
I
talked to
don't
him
know.
yesterday, and that's the only reason I brought it up. He
Okay.
said he
So
thinks it's a great
he's,
idea.
so I guess there's two conflicting things. So you just talked to him yesterday and he's saying he's fine with it.
He
He
said as
thinks
long
it would
as-
be a good idea.
As long as
we
he's
take
not the one
responsibility.
signing for the responsibility.
Okay, well I guess my question is liability there. If somebody spills something in one of these cars, can that car owner then come to the village and say, you put on this, you were the sponsor of this, pay for the replacement of my seat in my car?
I'm sure there's a waiver for him, but I mean,
That's
no.
$20,000 interior.
Well, but I'm saying,
no,
could
I
we,
agree.
but,
Well, do we want to open
We
it
don't.
yourself?
No, not a good idea.
Cars and alcohol, not
Yeah.
really excited about that.
I mean, I think I think it is a good idea personally, but I don't want to open the village. I mean, I agree. I do think it would be better if we're gonna work out issues to have it be some. I do agree with that, but if I just don't want the village to. I mean, the liability with old cars and stuff like that. If that's something we would have to take on.
I mean, I'm not an attorney, but it would make sense if we're not serving the alcohol. We're just saying our police officers in this area are not going to enforce
That's what I thought
open
it meant.
container. I don't see how it would put more liability, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
got-
want to spend a lot of time on it. It was just
Yeah.
a suggestion.
Well, I would
Well-
say maybe we have time, right? We can still, we have
Yeah.
time before we
Yeah.
can, I think we should talk about
Chief,
this
did you
more.
have anything to speak on this?
Yeah, I just want to, a while back, me and the mayor, we had a discussion about this. We ran into an issue that it's an engineering issue that we're running into because there was something about we had to have the roads surveyed or something along that lines.
I think they cut us.
So we did.
Yeah,
get
we
them to
did
do
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
approved for the Dora, it is.
Okay, I wasn't aware that happened. That was just the last conversation.
That
I
was-
had.
Very recent.
Okay, so, yeah, that's just what was running through the back of my mind, the whole
But
discussion.
you talk about enforcement, if it's not and they are open container, it will be enforced.
I
So-
hope.
Yes.
I mean-
So, I mean, that was a lot of things we talked about last year is enforcement. So I think we're on the same page that we're gonna enforce the laws that we have.
I mean, and
But it's
I was-
something we can talk about, maybe like at the cow and kinda go through things.
so
maybe.
then can I make a motion that we approve the closure for the car show with Dora being discussed ahead of time? So that way he knows he's good to go and he can.
The
Jay,
Dora's not on the agenda. Point of
No.
order, I'm sorry, Eric. The Dora's not on the agenda. You can always bring it up legislative at the next meeting and
Yeah.
talk to the
Jay already
bars.
made a motion.
We have a motion on the floor for the road closure. We had discussion before a second, so.
Second, Patricia. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then if you wanna bring up the door as a legislative item, talk to the bars, talk to the show owner, we can deal with that at a later point in time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, road closures for May 9th, June 6th, July 11th, August 8th, and September 12th for the farmer's market.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Jay, Courtney, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Road closure for October 5th for the Halloween event.
Motion.
Courtney,
Second.
Tricia, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Road closure for December 5th for the Christmas event.
Motion.
Jay?
Second.
Aaron? No, Ezekiel.
She's the husband, did that twice now.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I put on here, because I heard a couple things about, I think people voted on something and did not have a chance to look at it thoroughly, so I put the council meeting dates back on here. So I'm gonna open that for discussion for you guys to talk about, and let me know what you wanna do. We've already approved it, we could have special meeting, we can always have a special meeting prior to a council meeting, but you guys let me know what you wanna do.
I think that we don't have enough time in our Cal meetings. We cut ourselves to a point where it's an hour. You're here at 6 and at 7 we're over. And there's times that I think as we're going along here with different things, it's going to take a little bit longer than an hour to make a decision on things. I mean, we got a group of active people that are actually asking questions and talking.
So what
So
is
it's-
your proposal?
I would say maybe after the first meeting, have the Cal after the first meeting so that we could discuss what's going on there, and then for the second meeting, or anytime after the second meeting. I just want it to be to the point where we cut the
You
Cal
want them
off.
on different days?
No, it could be the same day. Yeah,
You
it's
wanna
just-
do the council meeting first?
Right.
And then do the council?
Correct, a Cal, yeah.
Yeah, but then, do you wanna start a Cal at 9:30?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
I ju-
say.
if we wanna have all three, I feel to do it justice, they need to be separate days. So we don't have to cut a meeting off to stay, to stay on the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that any of us necessarily are looking forward to giving up, another Monday every month, but I think it's it's probably what's gonna need to happen, at least for this year, so that we have enough time. Every other cycle, when we bring in 4 new people, if things are just gonna take a little bit longer. We were there too. I mean, I
know.
sit up here going, So I just think it whether it's the first, second, and third Wednesday or Monday or whatever, but I'll show up whenever.
I just like to have the Cal meeting encompass as much information as we can for our next regular meetings. So that we're talking about stuff not 2 weeks from now. We're talking about, before we
Tell
go
me
into
what
the
days
meetings.
you want them on.
Well, you can always go back to the way it was and just have the cow for as long as it takes on the second Monday of the month, and if you need a special meeting, call the special meeting for before the cow.
Would you prefer that, would you rather do
I
separate
think
night.
you guys need more time in it. Not elected official, I think you guys need more time in a cow than you do on
Voting.
the legislation and voting and the reports.
And it will also, when things start kicking up again with building season and all that, having it the way it was done that way to kind of slow the process for council. We stretched it out, I think it was last year, the year before, to 120 days. Well, if we have meeting, we got first, second, third reading, it might be done in 45 days. And that's, I'm gonna be honest with you, having been through too many of these processes in the last 2 years, 120 days sometimes feels a little rushed. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. I think that it's gonna take longer. We either have to have 3 separate days, or we just go to
So
how it was.
we have 2 different things that we're looking at. Do we add on to our current calendar and add and let me get this right, Jay, are you looking at ahead of potentially adding, just mirroring the meetings is what we like, or?
I don't care if we add a meeting, have 3 meetings a month, or if we have a longer Cal meeting after one of the other regular meetings. It doesn't matter. I just think we need more time as a group,
I don't disagree.
and it doesn't really matter how we get there. I mean,
It's just trying to find out what makes the most sense and how that works with everyone's schedule to make sure that we can
Correct.
accomplish that, because, everyone else
I
trying
got
to.
families, I got kids, and I mean,
Correct,
just trying
and
to
that's,
take them away for another night.
so we have, in essence, 2 options. One, we add an additional Monday, right? Or, yeah, additional Monday, probably between the two meetings at minimum. Or we somehow add to the first meeting of the month.
Do,
Any,
So what
any
about-
other options aside from those?
what about going, I mean, what Bill said, and where we don't have to, and Eric, where we don't have two meetings a month. I mean, I mean,
That's the way it
some,
was.
yeah, I mean, some people might not like this in the room, but I mean, really, it doesn't benefit us.
And I only did it because that's what people were saying. We
Yeah,
need
and
to have
it's,
2 meetings a month.
the
I
thing
really don't
is,
care.
is with the special meeting, you can always call a special meeting before your cow. But as new council members, you need 2 hours in a cow once a
Yes,
month.
I agree.
So here's my question, if we go back to the way we used to, what do we do about the last meeting in February?
We could,
Do we start maybe March 1st or like,
You
or,
could, you could.
yeah, I mean, to
Like
keep
finish
it,
out
to keep, I would
February?
say finish out, I mean, at least, already have it set right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would, at this point, we're in February, I feel like it would be a little,
that's why I think maybe. the
whatever,
March.
to not, to give warrant, not continue the schedule through the month.
Okay.
Are we giving the new process a chance to really like see how things go having the 2 meetings if we're immediately reverting back to the way things were before?
Well, I agree with that, but an hour cow, I mean, we were rushing through just now through the budget in an hour, and I'm sure we all could have asked more questions.
Also, remember too, we have public hearings that are scheduled, so if your public hearing ends up falling on your night that you're gonna have the cow and the regular meeting, you're now starting your public hearings at 5 o'clock.
Sure. Bill,
So just so you weigh all that.
Yeah.
Bill, is it possible to set it up to where it's a council meeting and a cow, and there's a 3rd meeting scheduled, but if we just don't need it, it can be canceled, correct?
You can cancel it, but you gotta go through the expense and time of all the notices. It's better to have a regular schedule.
Yeah.
And if you have to have a special meeting, that's the purpose of a special meeting, by definition. And
I think that my understanding had initially been of us going forward with the way things are now, that the second meeting of the month would almost be more abbreviated and focused on getting through doing some of the readings and that process, and then, so that's why I liked the idea of maybe putting the cow after the second meeting and having it to where maybe we're very intentional about having our second meeting being more abbreviated so that we can put an emphasis on more of the time being spent in the cow.
Just to put a time meeting where we're meeting for the cow. I mean, just like you said, if we were done, if we had a
Yeah.
20-minute meeting, we could go straight into the cow, but we can't do that.
you can state that your regular meeting starts at 7 and your cow meeting starts 15 minutes thereafter,
Or immediately after.
or 9 o'clock or 8:30, and if it starts late, it starts late, but it's totally your call. You've already voted once to have 3 meetings, which is cow before the second meeting. And to Zeke's point, and everyone else's point, do it one more time in February, see how you feel. If you want to amend the council rules and amend the dates, you can amend the dates.
In
But I
worst
think,
case, if we
I
need
think
to set-
personally, you need more time discussing things amongst yourselves.
And I'm not opposed to having that in front of the first meeting and just mirroring them at this point. But the good point that Wendy did come up and hopefully setting the 2 council meetings was to potentially eliminate some of the special meetings that we've had and just encompass it into our regular meetings. I think that was one of the big reasons, and so we can make sure that we hit the process for legislation on a regular basis, not just once a month. It can be a regular occurrence. So I think it's something we should probably discuss, especially at the next cow, to make sure where we
Discuss the cow at the next cow.
exactly.
Yeah.
So just to make sure the efficiency that we're going forward, and yes, I agree that we do need more time to discuss legislation and vet it out completely, and everything's discussed.
So we'll just pause on it until the cow.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll make sure
All right.
we include that on the next cow.
Okay, council rules. Do you have a motion to approve those?
I never saw an updated version.
There have been no changes since the one I sent prior to the last meeting for council rules.
The council rules did not
I thought-
change.
Didn't we add the,
Yeah,
didn't we add the,
I don't know why
where
you
we're,
guys didn't.
where we're posting?
That was it, and that, I think she just included that in the original one that we had.
Yeah.
Right, that,
Oh,
we had
okay.
that one.
Oh,
The
yeah,
red- The red
okay,
one, there
but
was
you
no
should,
changes
but
from
that did get added.
I added
Yes.
the public comments
Yes.
that you guys
Okay.
wanted, it's in red.
Okay, okay.
I didn't see it. But yeah, I was gonna say, we got the red line you asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right there, red line.
There wasn't a whole lot,
That was the only thing, I believe that was changed. So, with that, do I have a motion to approve the council rules?
Motion.
Motion by Courtney, second, Tricia. All in favor?
Aye.
Administrative employee guidelines, it goes over red line as well. Those are okay.
I make a motion.
Tricia made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Which one are we on?
Administrative employee guidelines.
Those are sent.
Did someone second?
I did.
Okay, Courtney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next thing on here is the school parking lot. You know, last year they came to us and, you know, they wanted to extend this parking lot, but, you know, summertime, they got too busy, didn't get to it. They're coming up on having their zoning expired. Their major site plan, I mean. So we just need a motion to expand that 6 months.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have a, IDI presentation. Bob, are you here?
As long as we still have it.
Good evening. My name is Bob Stevens. I am the market officer for IDI. We are a developer focused exclusively on warehousing and other industrial type product. We are on the legislative agenda for major site plan approval. This will be our third time through.
Which lot?
Lot
Is it 9?
Lot 9.
Lot 9,
Yeah.
Just wanna make sure.
We acquired this site in 2021, shortly before the interest rate environment really changed. And so we came through and had our site plan approved as two buildings. But given the changes to the rate environment and all else that was going on in the economy, we decided not to develop. In 2024, we came back before this group and had a new site plan approved for 3 buildings that more closely aligned at the time with where we were seeing demand and what we thought we could get built at the time. That major site plan has expired as well, and we are bringing back the 2-building plan that was originally approved in 2022. There is no need for me to come and stand here, but we thought it made some sense because we are asking for you to approve our site plan, for us to come up, show you on screen what it is we plan to do, what we're asking for you to approve, and give you the chance to ask me anything that you guys would like to know about our plans and timing, etc. So the 2-building plan, you can see in the lower right-hand corner. First building is the one on the left is a 594,000 square foot building. The lower right-hand corner of that plan is a 430,000 square foot building. Building 1 is the building that we plan to. Well, I should say this is all one lot today. So in order to do anything, we need to have the plan for the whole lot approved. That approval requires 3 readings, and we need a variance that affects the back corner of the lower right-hand corner, which you guys have not seen yet. So that will come, I believe, in March.
Actually, the public hearing is going to be March 2nd. So you will have packets in your mailboxes here sometime this week, just for you to review.
Again,
Is it
it's
for distance from
It's
the property line?
the creek.
Oh, that creek, okay.
Stream corridor
Okay.
protection zone.
And that's one of those that we put more than the EPA for our standards, is that same case?
It's part of the current comp plan, the stream corridor protection zone. So
Okay.
they're encroaching a little bit, so that's why they have.
We have to do the same thing for DJs, right?
No, this is the same one.
Oh.
This one has already been approved, this variance has already been approved.
Oh,
too.
it
Their
expired.
time just
I knew we
expired.
did one, I just.
Yeah, their time expired, so that's why we're going back through.
Yep. so,
Sorry.
no problem. I really am here just to answer anything that you guys might have about what our plans are, et cetera.
So many of us weren't here prior to this, and so, and I do remember the submission and resubmission and going back and forth. I remember witnessing these before being on council. So you're in essence just the same plans that you had before. Is there any other? And I missed the second part. It's 500,000 square foot of the one.
594,000.
Could you repeat what the second one was?
431.
Thank you. Okay.
Did we lose a retention pond? I thought,
I don't-
in the originals, I thought there was 4.
There is 4 on this one. You might see a very tiny one up
small
towards
up
the.
Is that, is a wet pond, is that a retention pond also?
Well, they also.
I mean, is that what that wet pond is? That,
Which pond are you?
Oh yeah, I see where you're confused.
It's
Okay.
not-
All of them
I thought
say
there
that
were,
one.
I thought on the originals there were 4
Eric, and I,
retentions.
you're seeing that on this one right here, it says existing pond, so that one does not show it. There's an existing pond on this graphic that I have. That one does not show it, and it's in
Yeah,
that.
no, but I thought we lost one. Maybe I'm incorrect, I'd have to pull out the other one, but I thought there was another retention pond.
Actually, I think there might be some cheating,
It
because
is.
that one does show 3, and this one has the, that could be.
Okay, so wouldn't that need to show on here though?
Oh.
If you're going to use a pond that's already there, doesn't that need to show?
There's something back here that is kind of like a low area that I think might have been shown up on a previous.
Gotcha. Okay.
drawing.
Yeah, so are we going to use that?
No,
It
all
won't be
the,
touched.
It will be what?
it won't be used or touched, no.
Yeah, we're not touching that.
So it'll stay low?
Yeah.
And it's gonna fill with water that's not gonna be recirculated? So it's now a mosquito problem?
Well, I think it's a wetlands area. I think
It's what
a-
it is now.
It's kind of.
I know,
wetlands
but
area.
we're gonna ask you to make it better.
I don't know that we're allowed to touch it.
This is in a floodplain.
Yeah.
And we would not want to be in the floodplain.
Yeah, that's correct. We don't wanna put any fill, we don't really wanna touch the,
Do we need to recirculate or anything?
I'd say whatever it's doing today is probably,
Okay. Yeah,
Better
absolutely.
know what we're gonna do with it. Yeah.
So again, it is the same exact plan
Mhm.
that was approved the first time around, that we are bringing back to you today. So we are thrilled to be here. Hope to get a building out of the ground in May.
How many trees are you guys planting, if any?
We'll be going, and I'm Kevin with Kleinger's, the civil engineers for the project, and we'll be going through that process with the full set of construction documents that'll have the landscape plans and things like that put together, so
Okay.
that'll still go through the approval process.
do you have tenants for those buildings?
We do not. Not yet.
This is just spec build, spec.
Yes.
The site is
standard?
currently now
Like-
graded out for the 3 buildings. So we did have that portion approved and built 2 years ago.
And then the construction plans will not only have the trees, but how many parking spots that you'll have, so we'll know the amount of employees that will come. There could potentially be more traffic in that area.
That's correct.
Well, this is, Bill, I have a question, maybe I'm getting confused. Is this where if they say they're building and there'll be 300 employees and they bring 20, is this where we can say, whoa, you said the economic impact's gonna be this, or was that with the original with Billy, and now we can't? If they're only.
They're not making any promises for employees, they're asking for approval of a site plan.
But the question was, she'd asked, how many employees and that, since it's not a build to suit. I mean, do we have anything to I don't want another building that has 15 employees for 11 months a year. That's 500,000 square feet.
Right.
Are we past that point, or?
So are you looking at the TIF agreement, is that what you're talking about, in those specifications that are in
Well,
there?
I mean,
With the Bath and Body building, we're already at the capacity, because they said they'd have 500 employees for that whole project. We're already there.
okay, so we're past that point. It's only, and that was my question. If so, once Billy sold them, then that part is done. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. I'm not looking to screw you. I just, you know, we don't want another 500,000 square foot building that literally might bring in enough to, I don't know, might pay for the cameras, you know, in a year, and what is it, 0.75% or 0.5%?
No, I understand.
I mean, I think we're gonna hit a home run with the one that's, you know, the other ones that are being built, but you know, it's just concerning.
The benefit that the village has is the size of the park as a whole. On average, you're gonna get the jobs and payroll that you would expect to get across the whole thing, right? And so some are gonna be higher employee counts, some lower. We hope ours is higher, but when we develop it without knowing who's coming.
Right.
And I can't make any guarantees this time.
And that's fair. If it's us saying it, then we're ignorant and we don't know. If we ask the professionals and you say it and it's not, well, then I wasn't ignorant, you gave wrong information.
Understood.
Is there anything else?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I hereby make a motion to enter into executive session under Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G8 to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance that involved information directly related to requests for economic development assistance or the extension of utility services that are directly related to an economic development project on the determination that the executive session is necessary to protect the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project.
I have a question. Can we put that at the end? Because we're not gonna have anything after
Could
that.
you have said that before I said that mouthful?
We will have business after the executive session.
Right, that's what I mean. So can't we move it to the end so everybody can leave and we go to executive session?
No,
Come out
because
and
the agenda's been set.
we can change it
You
with the
can make a
majority vote.
motion.
You can make a
change
motion
the
to change the
You wanna
agenda.
make an emotion?
Yeah, I just think
You can read that.
I just think it would make more sense. to
Okay,
move it to
Eric
the
has,
end.
And that's not the intent of executive session to end on executive session, so.
No, but you can always go into executive session last and state that there'll be no further business on the record, so that folks don't have to hang around if they don't want to. We have a motion on the floor to move the executive session. The last item on the agenda, which would be after item 15. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
No,
Any opposed?
no.
Okay. With that, it would pass.
okay, I need to drink water. Okay, let's move on to legislation, the second reading, resolution number 01-2026. A resolution approving the major site plan application for Mark Jacob on behalf of IDI Rickenbacker G1 LLC as to Lot G, Lot 9, in the Rickenbacker Exchange Part 3 development. I will- Next is,
Actually, that's the second reading, right, Mayor?
Resolution number 02-2026, a resolution approving the major site plan application for Mario Reyes Gonzalez for the El Canon Retail Center and Restaurant.
Discussion.
Yes.
After our last meeting, I feel I have to bring it back up that when this originally was approved, I had brought, it was late in the game, it was told it was the 11th hour. I spoke with Bill and told him that I didn't think that would be a local street, and 150 feet wasn't right. He told me the mayor said it was, so that's what it was gonna be. At that meeting, I checked with the engineer. I called her before. She had said that is a collector road by definition. In the meeting, the mayor at that time stated that with the right-of-ways, it's not. So they only have to have 150 feet between. And I believe that was in error, that ODOT, as Bill said the last meeting, sets those standards. And that is a collector road, which I believe at 35 means that the driveways have to be 300 feet apart. And the mayor at the time said at 148.85 feet, it was close enough to 150, and I believe we cheated the residents of due process and possibly infringed on 14th Amendment by not having them get a variance, because the mayor at the time stated that 148.65 on a local street was close enough, which was against the engineer and ODOT. So he classified that road on his own at the advice of council. That was how it could be. I don't feel like the citizens got their due process. I don't want to hold Mr. Reyes up, but I also don't want to put the village or him into any point of liability if there would be a fatality, and those are not the proper amount of distance apart.
I did have a conversation with Susan, well, email, and she let me know that Welch Road was an arterial road.
I pulled it off of ODOT, so I apologize if I
That,
missed.
it's still not a local road.
Yeah,
So that's even
So,
more. I think arterial makes it,
so-
It's still 300.
it is 300, okay.
yeah, the Welch Road development, I don't think can meet the driveway spacing requirements. To Pettit's Drive, south nor between the two driveways on the property. But they clearly need two driveways to make the site work. They could do a variance, but.
I think that's the only fair way, is to let those people that are gonna have to deal with that, intersection having literally less than 150 feet. You'll have Pettit's, 148.6 feet of driveway, another driveway, 148.6 feet, another driveway, then you have the interest of Chestnut. I just think that's not safe, and if we don't let them say whether that's what they want or not, I feel like we're cheating them out of their rights. That's all I have to say about it.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because my concern all along has been those distances between that and the proximity. And so I'm glad that you spoke up, Jim, regarding at least, at minimum, that remedy. I don't know if that's going to be a remedy that we can look forward to, but yes, the distances between the two driveways and the proximity between the Pettits, I think, is problematic and should have been addressed previously. And now, in some sort of fashion, we're going to have to address it at this point.
So Bill, do we revisit the entire thing? Do I have to make a motion to reopen it? You said we could look at any legislation at any time if we didn't feel it was right.
Sure.
What's the process, sir?
Yes, you can. You can require any variance that you believe is necessary.
That's just my opinion. There's 5 other people up here. If you all think it's good, then
So requiring the variance, basically, we would take a vote
Yeah.
on the variance, whether or not we'll allow it from 300 to not just below
I
half.
believe we have to have public hearings and stuff.
They'd have to apply, there'd have to be a public hearing.
You know, we
I-
can hear.
I agree. I mean, if we're gonna enforce, we need to enforce zoning. I mean, that needs to be done.
And safety first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that a variance would be needed to just to find out how we can remedy what situations that we have, before we move forward with the project. So.
Do you wanna ask questions of Mr. Reyes and allow him to speak? Do you wanna hear
Mr. Reyes in here.
I am.
his representative?
And I told him before the meeting that I was gonna bring it back up, so this isn't a shock to him.
So, For a foot and a half, we're gonna have to go through a 90-day process again.
It's actually over 150
150
feet. It's supposed to be
We've got a
300.
building permit already for the foundation, and that is up the 1st of April. And that's why we had the first reading, and the second reading was supposed to be on the 28th, and that got canceled because of the weather. Now this is the second, so they went back to the second. And if we don't meet that, then we're gonna have to redo the permit and everything else.
Sir, I mean, I've been very upfront with you.
Yep.
And I'm just, what I wanna make clear is we're not trying to cost you anything, we're trying to save you later. Because if that is done in error, that is on us, and that could be on you for liability purposes. As Bill always tells us, people can sue for anything. And you know what, it might only be 1.35 feet for you, but for that family member that gets killed because they come out of there, 1.3 feet was their life.
Well, and it's not even 1.3 feet because you said it's actually
Right.
300.
Well, I'm
so,
going off of what.
well, yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
really over. I mean, it's supposed to be double
Yeah.
the size, really.
Yeah,
So
and that-
this was all approved, and now we're gonna have to go through the go again.
It has never been, we're going through the approval process with what you submitted.
We obviously can't make the 300 feet, I don't
Well, you would just have to submit for the variance, and then we would vote on that. I can sympathize with, you know, where you're coming from with the permits, but at the same time, there was also, correct me, a year and a half. I mean, how long
think. How long
that
you had
the
to
last
put it
one
down?
was approved and nothing was
We
done
had
with it,
this
so you-
last year.
well, yeah, but and then you had to resubmit it because your time was up. So it is unfortunate, but I mean, I'm gonna motion to require a variance on this resolution.
I'll second. Well, I don't know what this is gonna do for the whole project, so.
Point of order, Bill. To keep it clean, would we deny this one? And they would start on a new clock or something? How does that work as far as timing?
Should he use the one he's got?
Use what?
He's got an approval already, he's already got it, okay, can he use that?
Well, no, the time lapse.
That's
Time
lapsed,
lapse,
that
that's
hasn't.
where we're- yeah,
No,
that's
it
where we're at.
did. That's
why
why they
we're
had to
here.
resubmit because the time lapsed.
So there's no approvals to it right now.
All right.
Okay.
Can he ask to table it?
He can ask to table it, yes, he can.
Yeah.
Does that stop?
If we could,
To stop the time, you can always ask to table it.
And they can
There's a
resubmit.
motion on the floor to amend the resolution to require a variance. And do you wish to place this resolution on the table, or do you wish to carry on
I'd
this?
like to place it
On the table.
so I can discuss this with,
Okay,
and I don't know if it's okay before I want to speak with the owner, but I also like to maybe have him meet with you guys or whoever represents him.
yeah, I think he's gonna need to meet with Susan to talk about the requirements, for your entrance and exit. I know when this first came up, we talked about using a shared driveway with Pettit's. I don't know if that's still an option or not. But
we
at the
talked
request
about
of the owner's representative, this has been asked to be placed on the table. So I would go to the next item.
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
we talked about that, but I don't know if Dennis would have been agreeable for it.
I would just get with your client, get with Susan and talk, but it's on the table, so your time has stopped for now. So you're on this. Okay, moving on. Resolution number 03-2026, a resolution to make permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Commercial Point, Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026.
Would this help you if we waive the rest of them?
It's just one more reading, so you can pass it at the February meeting, that's fine, the
It
last
won't-
meeting in February.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
send you out updated after our discussion later today.
Ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance waiving the residency requirement for the village administrator pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 735.271.
Discussion. I was kind of against this at first, but after speaking with him, everybody, even though he lives outside the village, he has our services. And I think that's why they wanted the person to be a resident, was so that they would have the water and sewer that everybody else has. Since he has it, I mean, does anybody else have any discussion? We can make a motion to waive, because we are on the 6 month, and it really doesn't affect anybody. But I'd like to make a motion to waive and adopt this.
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Courtney,
Yes.
Ezekiel,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
So wait, point of order, was that the waive?
The third reading.
Oh,
The
yes.
third
reading.
reading. Yeah.
Sorry.
The
Now,
third reading.
motion to
I was
approve.
waiting.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Yes.
Eric. Second. Patricia. Roll call.
Jay,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Ezekiel,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Double thank you. Okay, ordinance 2025-12, an ordinance to rezone 21.92 plus or minus acres within the village of Commercial Point, Ohio from R3 to Planned Residential District, PRD, and adopting the preliminary plan and development standards text for the planned district.
We need to discuss this, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are concerns, or, this is the second reading is the time, because come the third, it makes it harder to react. I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, so what
We also
are
have-
concerns, or
Molly and Jack are here, if anybody wants to discuss with them.
they probably prefer not to come up.
That's correct.
Or what, I mean, I know that for some reason, MFA has gotten a black eye. And whether we like it or not, 104 is gonna get developed. The city of Columbus is literally one cornfield away from owning on 104. Mrs. Green has already said that she'll give the right of way for utilities. They have wells right there. And with the land that we decided to pass on, from Billy, now Columbus surrounds that one property. If they come across there and go under our lines, if they have a contract, they're looking to expand. They're 25 years into a 50-year plan. That 50-year plan is to provide water and sewer services to all of Pickaway County if they don't already have it. I just don't want us to become a suburb of, it wouldn't be the city of Columbus, it would be the township that's serviced by Columbus more than likely. So if we're not gonna put something like this there, and we flood everything with just homes, how's that different for traffic? One, it would be about the same, because how many acres, times 3, that's how many homes. We need transition homes for the people working at the warehouses to maybe now live here, and then we get, more income tax. Is this ideal? No. I will say, having been in the process, from their original, I think I beat the man up as much as I could to get as much distance as I could from the Foxfire residents. And it is a state route. Something's gonna go there. We just need to figure out as a body, for the next 2 years, at least while I'm here, do we want to take our chances, or do we want to take a step forward and decide if that kind of thing is good or not? I think that's where we're at with this one.
So I guess my thought is right now it's currently R3. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is it 4 or 3 per acre? 4. Okay. So there you have roughly 80 homes, and so by going this route, if I'm correct, it's 160. Is that correct? So 160 units.
Twice as much.
So I guess the one question that I have, is how we look at right now, without us saying anything, they could go ahead and build with whatever plan they currently have, right?
Any quality.
80 homes, right? So how does this, and if you guys can ask, clearly,
I'll let them talk.
how will this proposed development benefit our community more so than how it can currently be zoned?
Sure, absolutely. So first of all, we've added a very extensive buffer along the north portion of the parcel. We've got 172 feet, we've got 5 foot to 6 foot tall mounding that we're committing to. I do not believe that under a straight R3, we would have any obligation to do that, nor would we, just for the simple point that there's a cost associated with that. We've also got roughly a half a mile of walking trails that are added to this development. Again, would not necessarily be required or available with that R3. The other thing we've got here are really nice design standards and nice design features and full HOA control of that and HOA enforcement of those deed restrictions. So we'd like to think we've got a nice amenity, we've got a tot lot proposed, we've got a pavilion proposed. And the other thing that's happening here is there is a traffic study. It's just recently been finalized, and there are a number of commitments that we're going to be required to make as part of that traffic study and improvements along 104.
Did we
I
get
saw
that?
the recommendation.
Yeah,
I know we got one for the gas station, right?
Can you touch on, I know that there are some recommendations, let's go ahead and speak on that, because I do have some
Yeah.
questions on that.
Sure,
Um,
so just
go
to
ahead.
be abundantly clear, this is, it's not been approved by ODOT yet. It is possible these recommendations may change as a
Sure.
result of ODOT final approval.
Right.
We have to include a northbound left turn lane into
Mm-hmm.
the development. We also have approximately a 250-foot southbound right turn lane that is required. We believe there is sufficient right-of-way under the property that the owner here controls in order to add those amenities. The other item that was eliminated is this right-in, right-out that was originally proposed is now a fire access only. So we've got just the one.
So we're just, okay,
access.
so, okay,
Emergency access.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, emergency access.
access,
Yeah,
okay.
off 104. So again, those are kind of the findings of the study. And I just want to touch on one thing. You know, this we feel is, first of all, it's kind of a transitional spot. There's commercial that's going to develop to the south with the gas station. We've got your residential. This is really an ideal piece, we think, for this kind of middle market sort of, we'll call it market rate, affordable, attainable housing. Right now, just to give you some numbers that we've run out, the average sale price
Ma'am,
of a
did you do this or did a third party do these numbers?
D.R. Horton did these numbers. So the average new build price is $479,000 in commercial home. In order to qualify for that, you have to have an annual income of about $132,000 a year. Our homes are going to be right at about $390,000. You can get there at roughly $85,000 a year of income. So we think we're filling a need in the market that's maybe not presently met with some of the high-end homes that are here.
And I believe that is right in line with Commercial Point's median. I think it's 91.4, I think was the last. Don't quote me on that, but that's real close to what our median.
So when you guys first came up, or this first was pitched, it was affordable. It was 250,000 to roughly 300-ish, we'll say, when this was first proposed. When it was first told, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
I think the first number I heard was 375.
That's correct.
Well, no, when they first presented it, it was 250. I was here in the
When they
meeting.
first came in to do their original presentation.
And it might not have been you guys, it might have been, I can't remember who it was, but when it was first talked about as being, I was here, as being affordable housing, I wasn't up here, I was in the audience, it was 250 to 300. Now that is, to me, considering affordable housing.
Yeah.
when we're talking, I understand 479, maybe it probably, I would agree with that. I mean, I live in Walker Point, it probably is around that. But 390 is not gonna be your entry level. 80 people coming out of college, people that are just, you're not at 85,000. I have a master's degree and I'm not at 85,000.
Courtney, can I speak to that, because that is probably mine and the council at the time's fault for that increase, because we were asking for so much, and they took away, I believe, 14 units to meet what I had said that I would even consider, and I think Jane at the same time said, yeah, that's at a minimum. So I think they went with a better product, it looks like, than what they were originally talking about as well.
Which is nice,
Right.
which is nice, but
Can I address something?
We're the same
'Cause I
prices. We're the
Let
same
me say
prices.
this. All right, first off, all great questions, but let me clarify a couple things. One, when we talk about the average sale price of a new home in Commercial Point is $479,000. First off, I'm Jack Montino, I'm the division president of D.R. Horton. And that's the average price of a new home. The average price of a resale home in Commercial Point today is about $424,000. That's resale. When we're talking about the average sale price of a new townhome, that townhome is ranging in square footage from 1,500 square feet to up to 1,640 square feet. They're both 3 and 4 bedroom homes. There are 2-car garages. All three are the 2 plans are both 2.5 baths as well. So these are good sized homes. That was a requirement as far as just the overall density. We had to lose some of the density. Now, going back to the payment, price is one thing, payment is another, okay?
so let's
Just,
get to that.
just bear with me. So with the payment on the $380,000 home that we would sell, that would be coupled with our financing, which is a 30-year fixed mortgage of 4.99%. It's not an ARM, it's not a buy down, that is a fixed interest rate that we would offer our buyers in today's market at 4.99%, which on the other side of that, the resale home and the resale market today, we're about 6 to 6.5%. So we're permanently buying that interest rate down for the buyer to achieve that affordability to where you said, you made a great point, I don't make $89,000, right? Or whatever, I've got a master's, people only make $91,000. This is household income, not individual income. So it's that, so really it's 2 people making $45,000 apiece or roughly $20 an hour. That's who we're trying to cater to with this particular product, because there's no housing stock today for anybody that is making the median income of Commercial Point today.
Is this pricing, is the 390 the high end or the low end?
It's high end.
It's the high end, okay.
Yes.
Is this pricing contingent upon anything else after the site plan is approved?
Such as?
Interest rates going up.
Or,
Sure, interest rates going. Well,
or-
that wouldn't affect, that would affect the payment, it wouldn't affect the site plan.
You know, I think we're here just to, we wanna make sure to keep the focus on our zoning this evening and be able to answer your questions about the value add to the community.
well, right, but is it contingent upon anything else moving forward if it were approved, that pricing?
Courtney, what are you thinking?
Tax abatement. Are they gonna come for a tax abatement? Are you gonna come ask for a CRA from us to get this pricing?
So property originally, it was our understanding, was in the CRA.
Yes, it was with under industrial, correct, so I'm asking to be
We're not asking for
transparent.
that this evening.
Right, this evening you're not, but that means, okay, this evening you're not, which means it's coming.
But in fairness to them, that's not this step, and I used to.
No,
do the
it's
same-
not, I
used to do the same
understand,
thing,
but I
yeah.
don't, you're asking me to approve something when you're giving me pricing that's contingent upon something you're gonna ask me for later.
We jump into stuff and we don't ask these
Yes.
questions, and then we come back with a.
Let me say this. The pricing that I've given this evening, this $380,000, that's not subject, or $390,000, that's not subject to a tax abatement.
So that's the pricing.
That's
That
it, that's
doesn't,
the
that
pricing.
doesn't matter if you were to get a tax abatement or not, that's
No,
the
no.
price.
No,
Oh, the
it's
price.
all about, here, the tax abatement does one of two, it's gonna do one thing. The tax abatement satisfies a need at a lower price point to serve that customer. What, a lower payment to serve the customer, not price point. Let me repeat, it serves as a lower payment for the customer. It doesn't benefit us.
Right, for this place, it
For
was
this
served
place.
for
The
them, for
only
those
re-
160
Yeah,
houses, not the
those
rest of
160 homes are going to be built either over 3 to 5 years, or they're gonna be built 2 to 3 years, whether it has a tax abatement or not. It really is to the residents' benefit that move into Commercial Point. It's,
So you're saying that up to the timetable, if we were to later down the road approve a tax abatement?
yeah, let me give you an example. Somebody at $380,000 or $390,000 home. Without a tax abatement, they need to be making roughly $96,000 household income.
Okay.
Somebody with a tax abatement, same home price, about $85,000 household income.
Yeah.
There are more people that make $85,000 household income than those that make $96,000 household income. That's the benefit of the tax abatement.
And if someone purchased one of these homes,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
$499 for 30 years, it's locked in.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you, for example, because I have a D.R. Horton home and my mortgage got sold, and that's typical in the industry. If these mortgages get sold, they'll still be locked in at the $499 for 30 years.
Yes, ma'am.
But on your home,
Mortgages are sold all the time.
Right, which I
We
understand
originate the
that,
mortgage,
yeah.
and then we service it originally, and then it's sold off. Your mortgage over a 30-year period could change servicers 5, 6, 7 times, but the terms of that note never change.
Okay.
You said, you came in and said that these were affordable for starter homes. Do you know what the average starter home is in Central Ohio? How much it goes for?
I know the average sale of a new home in Central Ohio is $540,000.
We're talking about starter
That's
homes.
what
You
I know.
mentioned starter homes 3 or 4 times when you've been here.
What I would say a
presentations.
starter home in Central Ohio today, on a used home in Franklin County, it's probably around $338.
$178,000 is a starter home in Central Ohio.
Where-
Nationwide, it's $196,000.
And what data is that?
It just came off the website. We just
From
asked
what,
for.
from, you're saying a starter home in Franklin County or
I
in
didn't-
Central
Central
Ohio is
Ohio.
$175,000?
Correct, $178,000.
How many counties are in?
I didn't either, but this came right off the
How many
website,
counties are in
and we're looking at this, it was the Department of Labor.
What website?
I think it was Department of Labor. We went through that, because we were checking, because, each time you come in here, you've mentioned starter home, okay? And I'm not sure either one of you started in a home that was $390,000.
No, I didn't.
I certainly.
I didn't, but that's why it's so critical that the payment be where the payment is. So that we can buy that interest rate down to where somebody making a household income of $85,000 can qualify. I'll give you one more example. Somebody making $85,000 or not, let's just say $90,000 at a 4.99 interest rate. They're buying a $380,000 home. Somebody buying a used home at a 6.5% interest rate. Are you following me?
I got it.
Yeah. That home could be no more than $280,000.
I got it.
That's the impact of the interest rate, is roughly about $100,000. That's what is needed in today's environment. You know the cost of gravel, you know the cost of pipe, you know the cost of land, you know the
Putting on a
cost.
house right now, so I
There
got
you
it all.
go.
well,
But I guess the question is, an $85,000 household income.
Uh-huh.
I got no car. I got no kids. I got no other expenses. Is to have an $85,000.
No, that's not true, because I used 35%. So what I did is I took their monthly income, multiplied that by 35%. All right,
Okay.
which is the standard norm, which is no more than 35% should go to your housing ratio, which includes your taxes, your principal and interest, your homeowner's insurance. I included everything, and that's how I came up with the $85,000 to $90,000, and it was no more than 35. I didn't run this up to 40 or 50%.
I don't think you can do it for 85.
I can show you the math. you wanna see,
Well,
I'll be happy to show you the
the
map.
85 is also with the tax abatement. The 91 is without it.
But you still don't,
That would
you
be
don't have kids,
variable
you don't
based
have
off
partners,
of
you don't have a
how
church,
they
all that.
qualify,
Sure,
their income, other,
Oh.
there's a whole litany of other
100%.
factors.
100%. I'm giving you kind of a general rule of thumb, is what I'm telling you. Somebody that's not, if they're making $90,000, I'm assuming that they're driving a Honda and not a Mercedes. I'm assuming they have minimal school debt and they don't have a credit card debt of $100,000.
Right.
I'm taking somewhat of just what I would picture as our consistent, what we would expect to buy these.
We also
General
assumed,
underwriting criteria.
if I
Yes,
can, also assume 3.5% down. That would not account for someone who had another house potentially that they sold, who entered the market.
And that's
had-
FHA.
Yeah, that's
I just-
FHA guideline.
I guess my concern is that we're talking about the financing terms rather than what the cost of the unit would be, where the first time this was presented to me, I think the number that I heard was $375.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're talking about going up $20,000 from there in a month and a half that I've heard about it. And with respect to you guys, I mean, honestly, my personal experience buying a home was that the initial interest rate that I was offered a year later, once it got built, was, you know, a 1.5 higher. Right? Now that was
I don't
years
think you
ago.
built with us.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's,
But-
could be a difference.
When we're talking about numbers and the financing of these things, like, I think that's my concern is, like, I would rather talk about what the price per unit is rather than talking about some speculative interest
Well,
rates.
So
here-
we're,
well,
I mean,
The
we are,
price
we
per
are right now
unit is
just,
gonna depend on whether or not we give them a tax
So
abatement,
I-
just like these numbers that they're talking about now are dependent upon whether or not there is a tax
Let
abatement.
me be clear on, let me just be clear. I did not say that the price was going to
You
change
said you had to make,
predicated
not
on
the
tax
price,
abatement.
not the price, the financing amount, so you said 91,000
How
with
that
no tax
affects the
abatement.
buyer, that doesn't
Yes,
affect us.
I didn't say it did, I'm
Okay, I'm
saying
sorry,
no,
I thought you
he's
said
talking, no,
price.
I'm saying the different scale levels that you're giving for financing is dependent upon, you said the 85,000 number you're using, you said depends on if there is a tax abatement. That helps them. The original question was, how does this benefit the village as a whole? I think most homeowners in this village that pay property taxes here and just got a huge increase a couple years ago aren't going to look too kindly upon, you guys don't have to do it, but we all do. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying I want that to be very transparent here, that is what we're talking about. Later, you will be coming to us for that.
so can I, to speak to the value that, and where we are, you're correct. I went back and looked at the presentation I gave last April, and we were at 375.
Okay.
You know, that's 10 months ago at this point.
Mhm.
Price of everything has gone up, price of construction materials, and we wanna give, you know, accurate statements about how much these homes are gonna be. We kinda need to thread the needle here. We've got, you know, high-end market rate housing to the north. We've got commercial to the south. We wanna deliver a nice product with nice design standards that's consistent with everything else Horton builds. So we're not at that 250 price point because it's not gonna look like this. It's not gonna have the natural finishes, it's not gonna have, you know, the upgrades inside, it's not gonna have the high quality vinyl, it's not gonna have all of the kind of detail that you would wanna see on something that's in, you know, frankly, a really nice area and that abuts an even nicer area. So that's kind of the need we're trying to fill. You're correct. We are in no way, shape, or form true affordable housing. We like to think of ourselves as attainable housing. We like to think of ourselves as hopefully meeting a need for a first-time buyer in this market who can't do $490, but can they do $100,000 less? We think there's nice amenities in this development that other people can take advantage of. We think we're bringing much-needed traffic improvements.
Can I make a mention about the amenities real quick,
Yeah.
though? So there's 160 units proposed. And when I looked at the plan, I counted 33 parking spots additional that are not even necessarily proportionally kind of laid out throughout the plan. And so I was kind kind of concerned about additional parking, particularly like street parking. I didn't necessarily know.
We should be meeting your code on street parking. That's the goal and intent. We would do
Okay.
exactly what the code required in terms of how many parking spaces to provide and how much street parking to provide. We do have sidewalks on both sides
On
of
one
the
side,
on one
yeah.
side.
And each of the units would provide for four parking spots, 2 in the garage and 2 on the driveway.
Okay. And then the overflow parking, the 33 was the overflow parking. I think that I was referring to.
Yes.
We've got
You
the
call that
pedestrian.
visitor parking, right?
Yeah.
So on-
Pedestrian path runs right through the site.
These
That's
are
new.
also, one thing we hadn't pointed out, these are private streets.
Okay.
So being that the private streets, they would be owned and maintained by the association. And with that, they then would plow and maintain. And that's one of the other reasons that we provide for that additional parking, because these streets will be more narrow and we don't want them parked on both sides of the
So
street.
that's not a service that's gonna be requested from the village at all at any point in time?
No, they would
Through
remain
their
private.
HOA, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I got some questions from some residents who, and one was the parking issue, because, you know, the residents that are butting up there at times do have parking issues, right, even in their housing development.
Sure.
One of the biggest things, I see you addressed it to a certain degree, but their concern was some of the parking that does abut back to those houses. Their concerns were the aesthetics, and you mentioned a hill. I think that they would probably want a mountain, but let's be, I mean, if there's a way that could be realistic through this process, any type of vegetation to make sure it's permanent and not seasonal, because any lights that get parked, anything that goes through there is a concern there, and where, if I remember correctly, where the mailboxes are specifically. So, and I know that there's kind of some green space that you have there, but that was a concern that was mentioned. And I know that Ezekiel brought up parking, which is another common thing there.
Absolutely. So as noted, we've got the 5 foot to 6 foot high mounding. We've got the kind of 172 foot buffer. We would certainly commit at the time of final engineering, sort of final development plan approvals, to specific trees and specific
Okay.
vegetation that would be, you know, planted there to further enhance that buffering.
Or to address the opacity as well.
These would not be saplings.
I think our code says that they have to be at least a certain diameter.
At breast.
Yeah,
tree.
you're
I think more
There's so many,
maturity.
like 1
Yeah.
inch, so many 2 inch, I
And-
believe. It's-
Evergreens as well.
And,
Right.
and we would show that as part of the requirements for final.
And I
development
assume
plans.
so. I just wanted to make sure I asked for the record so that we, you know, they're being heard, because their questions are very legitimate for that row of houses that abut that, and they certainly have some concerns. The other thing that they have, and I'm glad that you showed some examples, and hopefully we can have those available, was the type of materials or type of exteriors that would be available. I know those are examples, so I'm not going to hold you exactly to that, but what type of aesthetics? Will it be something that can or potentially mirror what is the neighborhood near it at minimum? Because what you're explaining to me, one of the values that you say brought to the community here is, and I'm going to be plain, you're not bringing junky homes. I mean, we can all, you're bringing something a little bit above. It's not the lower end price point, is what we're saying. This should be an accommodation to what the neighborhood's abutting it being. So I understand when you said that. So to me, I think that's where you were going, that you're not bringing crap to our neighborhood. I can appreciate that. I'm sure all of our homeowners do.
No,
That you're
these
bringing
homes-
a little bit higher level, and the price points do reflect that because of what is being brought here.
And these homes would all have 9-foot ceilings, quartz countertops, LVT flooring in the entire first floor, LVT countertops in the bathrooms, 2.5 baths. So this is not as if it were using laminate or I'm sorry, kind of a vinyl floor or even a laminate countertop.
Dustin, keep in mind that at the site plan, that's where if we want it to be
Right.
brick, we can say,
Right.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is planned, so
Yep.
this has gotta be brick, it's gotta be forward facing,
Water tables, everything.
Thank you.
and all that, so this, I don't wanna discount any, but the next step is where we get into the nuts and bolts of what's it gonna look like, what's this,
And again,
Got
I'm just
stone
bringing
water
that up
tables.
as a
Mhm.
reflection of what's being potentially brought here is the what type of value we're looking at. You'd mentioned the traffic analysis that you went through, and it's not finalized. I can understand that. The concerns that I have here is, so we have one entrance that is being dealt with, and according to the traffic study, it's not recommended to have a traffic light at that intersection at
That
this
is
point.
correct. That was not one of the warrants of the study, and just to the traffic study process, as you're aware, we did, there's an agreed upon MOU that articulates what intersections are gonna be studied and at what times and the extent of that study. We did that in conjunction with ODOT, our engineers did, and the counts did not warrant a light
Sure.
at that entrance.
And I'm glad that we did this. It did show some things, and I have some concerns with some lanes on the southbound side and the easements and how that's gonna look to the north end when you're looking southbound, especially the congestion at that one pitch point, which is why I'm wondering the second entrance on the transition of taking that out as at least a right turn. Is there any discussion on that, just to?
Yes,
as to
ODOT
where
was
that-
adamant that it is one entrance
Okay.
per
And that's
parcel.
that's totally
So,
fine.
yeah,
I just wanted to be sure how we got to that
yes,
point, how that
yeah,
changed.
they were adamant that can only be an emergency.
And was there any discussion on that the right turn lane from the northbound into there? Because I know there's another property to the north.
Correct.
So are we still waiting to
We're
see how
working
that?
on the geometry
Perfect.
of that. We believe that there's enough right of way to
Okay.
put that in without encroaching on the property, but we're working on that.
Okay.
We just got it last week.
Okay, and because
So-
I think the Foxfire development has the amount that they have there has been an ongoing kind of complaint because of the storage space that they have on that.
Yeah, they also have a significantly larger number
Correct.
of units.
Right. Okay.
So I have a question. I know that there's an entrance for EMS, with the roads being narrow. So let's just say someone has an event and there's cars on the street. Is it still going to be wide enough for that emergency vehicle to get down if there's a car parked on that street?
Yes, ma'am.
there's-
I mean,
okay.
we can't have streets that don't meet the requirements of the fire department. We can tighten them up a little because they're private roads, but we have to meet minimum standards for those minimum published.
Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, the CRA part of this is, it's on the property. We just have to decide if it's gonna be a one-time payment or not. I just
The
wanna,
way the CRA is listed, from what we heard from Bricker and Graydon, is the way it's listed right now does not qualify to residential homes. They would have to come back and apply for a different type of a CRA. That is from Bricker and Graydon.
and so you're aware of that going in, correct? That you're gonna have to negotiate a new CRA. And by the sounds of it, there's a snowball chance in hell that you get it. If I can, I don't want, ma'am, I know you're the attorney. but can
I'm
we-
trying, we're running parallel courses,
Correct.
but we're running independent courses. We, D.R. Horton, are trying to get a zoning done on this property.
Correct.
Okay. That irrespective of what happens on the CRA.
Well, it's, to people that do this every day, I would agree with you. To the 4 people that this will be the first time going through this, I'm gonna say that was not a good thing to say, because they need to understand it. And I've been around construction, you have, Bruce has, Billy has, so those points to those people are different. So their concern is, they're gonna approve this, and life is gonna happen for a council member. We're gonna have 47 things going, because we have to act as zoning, we have to act as everything. And then this is gonna come up, and we're like, son of a, now we gotta deal with the CRA thing. We gotta go through negotiations. So I think it is a concern that they're trying to make sure that you're aware of, so that we don't get threat of litigation if it's stopped, because we don't wanna do that CRA. We've been down that road.
Let me let Bruce speak to that.
Yeah, and I didn't wanna ask you.
No.
That's okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, so I represent Canova, which is the actual landowner, and the applicant, D.R. Horton's been applying on behalf of them. So as far as the CRA goes, right, when we originally brought this project up, we thought that we may be able to come in under the current CRA. the answer that we got emphatically from your economic finance counsel at Bricker Graydon was that's not the case, right? So we decided to do two separate paths, right? First path is rezoning, which is normally what you would do from entitlements. You see that on the AWS property, you see that on the other properties. They're entitled for zoning, but economic finance is completely separate, right? It comes later. Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't come, right? It's something you can ask for, but the project, the zoning is not contingent upon that. And that's the same thing we're doing here, right? We're asking for a rezoning, and yes, we may and most likely will come with an option for a CRA. And I understand that there are concerns about that. Some people think maybe we shouldn't do it, some people might. But it's going to be an option we present. So we can figure out what council wants to do. They can vote it up, they can vote it down, and doesn't mean the project is contingent upon that in any way, shape, or form. So just to be clear on that, does that answer the question on the CRA and how they're connected and not actually connected? Okay.
I think maybe the concern that I felt like I was hearing was wanting to know now what the downstream impact would be for maybe the cost of the units and the project if the, contingent upon the approval of those abatements.
So I think as Jack mentioned earlier, the price point's not contingent upon a CRA or any kind of economic financing incentive, right?
So what is the impact?
The impact comes down to the saturation rate and the actual payment, right? So if the payment is lower, people buy them faster, right? So if the payment is lower, someone who makes less money can go into that house to start out.
Bruce, is that because they have less property tax to pay?
Correct.
And normally they're all grouped together.
That is correct.
But if somebody has it without the property tax insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
what
they
it is.
won't have to pay property tax.
And
They
and
pay
I'm
the base land value.
They pay the base land value. There's also a pilot payment. Again, it's not to get too far afield, but there are taxes that are paid. We'll show all of those things in calculations, but that's for a much later date, and again, not contingent upon this. We originally were bringing them together, and I know that's why it got confusing. We are not doing that at this point. And to your question about how does this make the community or better, what does it provide, just one point that we want to bring up, right? We've heard time and time again from the residents that have come in that we want more commercial development. We want restaurants. We want stores, we want convenience factors, and we also hear that those aren't coming until we have more rooftops. The other thing we hear is that we also came out here and we like our farmland. We don't want to see all of the farmland taken up by large residential subdivisions or industrial developments. So what we do by having a higher density housing unit is that we do bring rooftops into a smaller area, right, without impacting 3 or 4 times as much farmland, which then bring the rooftops that allow the commercial development to come in. So that's one of the benefits that this type of higher density residential development can bring. We just wanted to make sure that we made that point. Any other questions on this topic, or?
It's not really a question, but just a statement. If someone is a first-time home buyer or someone that needs affordable housing and they're going to buy this for $390,000 or whatever, that person may not have money 2-3 years down the line because they could have put everything into buying this to do a home repair. So my ask of D.R. Horton, and I will tell you I don't make emotional decisions at all, is to build a product 5 years from now that someone would not have to replace flooring. That's someone that has an issue in their, I don't know if these are gonna be basements or not, I apologize for that, but there's a problem, they uncover it and there's something, right? You can't control everyone that's building something, but I just want it to be a quality product for that particular person. I do live in a D.R. home community. I love my home. I've met you before, I told you. I love my home. I've never had any issues, but I do have neighbors in my subdivision that have issues. And it's like, oh my gosh, how did this happen in this home? So that's my only thing. If this is going to be an affordable housing for someone that may not have money down the line for repairs, please give them a product that can last them at least 10 years before they have to put money into.
And that's why we're doing this, guys. I'm sorry for the new council members. I'm Bill Scala, K-Nova. The original, or actually still the property owner of this property. But as Bruce can attest, that's what we've been trying to do since 2015. For the industrial, for everything. I was here, I sat through all those meetings when Genoa Crossing, when literally those developers brought in literally the crappiest contractors I've ever seen in my life. Jim, I'll let Jim tell you guys some stories about that.
That's all right.
But I've, as a constructionman since I was born, I was ashamed of what was being built up there. We've had hundreds and hundreds of offers in the industrial park. We've whittled it down to the good guys like IDI, Van Trust, Pizzuti. They're building BJ's. You know, I mean, we've turned down lots of money, way more money from all the half-ass guys that are trying to just turn a buck. And same thing for the residential. We're taking less money on this. We could turn it. Some of the not. I gotta watch my language. I know I'm on camera. The not so good contractors offer more money for this to build the 60 to 80 homes. They don't have to build walking paths. They don't have to build a gazebo or a playground and all this other stuff. They don't have to put the trees in. They don't have to put the mounding in. Okay, because I trust Jack. Because D.R. Horton builds the way that that I would want my kids to be in. And I believe, after having been here for 11 years and having sat through a lot of these meetings, that this product for college grads, for young engaged couples, for my guys, we're a union shop. We're signatory with 9 unions. Right now, we've got young guys, 22 years old right now, that are making $85,000 to $90,000 as laborers, operators, bricklayers, and their girlfriends might be nursing students, but this is what they want to be in Tays Valley. And I do believe, just saying that, oh, we don't want them because it's affordable housing, I think they could be great members of this community. And I think D.R. Horton is, to your point, D.R. Horton is the one to build those. So we are taking less money, and yes, we will be coming down the line for a CRA, well, for the CRA amendment, because again, the CRA does cover this property, just like we expanded it at our expense to cover the whole village. Anybody, to your point, anybody in the village right now can apply for a CRA on their house if they want to do improvements and get property tax abatements. We paid at our expense to encompass the whole village, to help all the residents here. But, which is true.
Why don't we tell people that?
Tell them.
I'm just saying, if that's a real thing, no, I guarantee you, no one in the village knows that right now. I can guarantee you, no one knows that.
It's been on since 2019.
Yeah, and I guarantee they never told anyone. Clearly, has it came in front of you guys ever?
No, but I mean I knew about it only because.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's not like something that
Jim
people
for
know.
that,
I mean,
he should be telling you that.
I guess I don't think it's so much that the affordable housing thing scares, like, it doesn't scare me, the affordable housing. That's not like what I'm shunning away from. I've talked to so many people in that neighborhood in Foxfire. The number one thing I heard was, we moved from where we moved from to get away from townhouses and apartments. Number one thing I heard. And I'm just going to be honest about it. And that's where I'm at with it. And I know the schools aren't first and foremost here, but you're talking about 60, 80 homes versus twice that when our elementary and our middle school are over capacity.
My response to that would be, you guys.
Oh, I'm involved with the school heavily.
You guys will have. Well, ask the school district how much they're getting off of the Commercial Point, TIF, and CRA.
But you can only use it for certain things.
Like
we're not talking about that right now. We're not gonna get into that right now. It could be all night. I'm just saying, I don't think it's the affordable thing that scares people. I think it's when you talk about the benefit, $390 to $424 to what he said to build or get a resale home. I mean, yes, the interest rate's going to be higher, but that's $30,000. I mean, so.
I'll leave this to you guys. Tonight, you guys make the decision tonight. You guys are the council. You're the elected officials. If you guys want us to build the 80 homes where where Mikey has to plow the streets in a snowstorm like that, where the village has to supply everything, as opposed to an HOA where the only thing, Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, the only thing this HOA is asking for is police protection from the village. They're gonna handle everything else. They're gonna be very, very nice.
Even the exterior, the mowings and the landscaping would be taken care of by the HOA as well.
Yeah, so this is gonna be amazing.
So as far as the beautification goes in adjacent neighborhoods, I can say that this neighborhood will look as good as any neighborhood out there, being that it would all be mowed and beautified at the same time.
And my final comment would be, you guys new women's on council. I've been here, as I said, almost 12 years. So I've sat through a lot of cockamamie pitches from developers for thousands of townhomes, apartments, and also Nancy, Wendy, all these. They've heard some crazy stuff. This is 160 units. Try it out. If it doesn't work, it's by the industrial park. See if you guys like it. But if not, if you guys want us to build the homes, we can start putting permits in tomorrow. And if you guys as council tell us, I truly believe in my heart this is the best thing for Commercial Point, for right there, because I do believe it'll bring more good working class, hardworking, good American people. It'll give them a chance to live in your village and grow with the village, and then eventually buy homes in Foxfire and everywhere else. So I've said too much. Bruce is gonna grab me soon. You guys tell us what you guys want to do.
Well, just, if I can just end on one thing for the new council members. D.R. Horton has been here since 2004. And so many of you live in D.R. Horton homes. D.R. Horton, I think it's safe to say, was here before anyone else. They contributed to the improvements to the water tower via an upsizing agreement. We've been here a long time, and we hope that we earn the trust of this board, that we do deliver a nice quality product. We do what we say we're going to do. We do contribute to public infrastructure improvements. If we say the traffic study shows this, that's what we deliver on. So we are not, we're not new here. I used to go to the men's club for the meetings across the street.
Here's a whole 150
Yeah.
pages.
And we appreciate that. I just want, and I'm not gonna speak for anyone else, but we're processors, we're researchers, right? We are going to be the voice of the village, people that have us here. So we're always going to have their best interests at heart, as well as our own as well, but we do have to speak for our constituents. So thank you so much for listening and taking all of our questions.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate it.
Is there any change that anyone would like to see that would give them greater comfort? I mean, we can bring you a sample of the LVP flooring for the third reading. I've seen people do that. It's actually very effective.
I will just say this, it's next to Foxfire, and I'm sure you guys have been through that development. Walk through it, and if that development is, I've been through a couple times. Let's say the development is 65% brick. Maybe you should have 65% brick. If they have a particular tree, maybe your trees that you're adding can beautify Foxfire. So I'm just saying, I think the residents of Foxfire and Dustin has brought up all of their concerns. I think, taking that to heart, because they're the people that have to, they're gonna be neighbors. And
I
here in
think
Commercial Point, I can tell you, we're all good neighbors and we all want everyone to succeed. But anyone new coming in, we want them to be a good neighbor. They have to be a good neighbor.
Sure.
And sort of like what Patricia was alluding to, I think instead of looking at this as a totally separate item, is almost a continuum, and that so they're looking like, oh, there's not much difference in quality, aesthetics,
We
and
would be
that's
happy to
sure.
look at the architectural requirements of Foxfire and apply those same architectural requirements as we can.
Sure.
To these homes as well. And the only reason I say as we can, you're gonna be limited on
Right.
some of them because of just them being attached. But there is a percentage of stone or a percentage of brick, or there's a certain thickness of vinyl siding, or the thickness of
Garage
window
doors,
trim.
architectural
Garage doors,
style
yeah,
garage
all of
doors.
that, if we could look at that, we'd be happy to apply those same things to this as well.
I could, if I can, again, I'm not gonna get emotional about it, but I have a family member that has a DR home in Pickerington. And what they just built on the other side of this home, it's just like, why? So it just, when you have a home and you're spinning, and it could be your final home, it could be a trend, you're just gonna be here for whatever. You just want your neighbor to be a good neighbor, that's all, just
Sure.
a good neighbor.
And
A
as
good
far as
neighbor.
your question on the out-of-pocket expenses, just so we're clear, so everything covered 100% 1 year.
Right, and
2
it's after
years
that
on
1
all of the
year.
mechanicals.
Yes.
So HVAC, air conditioner, plumbing, electrical, that's all 2 years. Then on the equipment itself, like the condenser unit and the furnace unit, that's 5 years. And then 10 years on the structure of the home, 25 years on the shingles, concrete driveways. We certainly hope you have as little out-of-pocket expense as possible within that first 10 years. Okay, please do.
Where, do you have someplace
We do.
equivalent to this
Yeah.
that people could go look at to see how it is
We have
without?
we have 2 beautiful models that are decorated in Hilliard, right off of Renner Road in Alton Darby. That you can go into those model homes and see what we have built there. They're open 7 days a week. That's a product that we will be building.
So basically, it seems like we just need to decide, do we want a higher quality group of townhomes? Or do we want the bare minimum to meet R3? Because if we turn this down, it stays R3, we have 0. As long as they meet the code, we don't say nothing. They can put up whatever. This one, in the major site plan, Patricia, if you want it all be sycamore trees, that's what we deal with in a major site plan. You know, I mean, if you want all those ones that grow 37 feet in a year, that you can get, you know, a bunch of them for $20, that's what that is. So I guess as a board, we just need to decide. Do we want cheap houses and only 80 of them, or do we want a little better quality that's 160?
I have one more question, if you can. If you can't, tell me that's fine. The association that would manage this, is it Omni?
Could be. It could be Omni, it could be. Omni, you know, they're fairly local. We've used Omni quite a bit. We also have found that Omni's gotten very, very busy. So we're starting to look at some other management companies as well. Yeah, but they would administer the monthly dues and then also establish the contracts for all the maintenance and establish the accrual accounts for the future street improvements that would be needed.
We also maintain full control of the HOAs till full 100% occupancy. We don't turn it over till all the houses.
Okay, anything else?
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see the new board.
Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance approving the annexation of 1± acres of Scioto Township into the Village of Commercial Point and amending the zoning map. Y'all know this is the little part that they left off of their original plan.
No, this was big.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, maybe I can just ask. So, you mentioned that, and I just want to know how we got to this, but it was just kind of an odd scenario, so if you're able to kind of fill in some of those gaps, that would be helpful for us to know why we got to this point and why we're gonna come back for rezoning later for this as well.
No, there's not gonna be a rezoning. So this, she actually approached us when her husband passed.
Okay.
But this just squared up with Exchange Way. We knew that was gonna be a safety, you know, otherwise we'd have to offset so we knew, and, you know, she asked us to buy her house, so we were like, okay. So but literally, so we won't need a rezoning since there's never gonna be anything built there. It's just gonna be driveway and grass.
So you're just gonna leave it as exceptional use as it comes into the village, and you're not gonna ask to change any of that?
I don't think anyone's ever gonna build on top of the driveway.
Just want to be clear, so we know what the process is gonna be looking forward to,
That's
because
it.
that'll be a piece of it, okay.
And that way the village,
So, one question, for whatever reason, if that still remains township, and what ramifications will we run into that we're trying to avoid by actually, I'm just saying, just asking for a reason, just making sure, because you just said there's no utilities, nothing that's planning on going there, it's a driveway, right? So, and the reason why I ask that, if any point that there is a traffic light that needs to go there, that's no longer village property, that would be township property, correct?
well, then the township would have a say in it.
That's correct. Okay, that's why I was wondering if down the road that's what it would be. That would be the township. Okay.
Okay, up for third reading, resolution number 35-2025, A resolution approving the major site plan application for Scannell Properties, number 627 LLC, on behalf of K Nova.
What is that, seven?
Discussion, do I have a motion?
Yeah, they went to code.
Okay, they did, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's why we didn't have that public hearing, because
Yeah.
I'd already met it.
So you said we just need a motion?
Need a motion?
Yeah, motion to accept.
Motion by Eric, second?
Second.
Jay. Okay. Roll call?
Eric,
Yes.
Ezekiel,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Patricia.
Yes. Okay, there is no, motion passed. There's no pending administration action, or is there any additional business?
Motion adjourned.
Actually,
We have to go to the special
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
for the executive session.
Just for the
you going?
I'm just going right here. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we're not done. We're also gonna go to executive session.
No, we have to go to executive
You guys
session.
voted to move it to the end.
Okay, I hereby make a motion to enter into executive session under Ohio Revised Code, section 121-22, G8, to consider confidential information related to marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance that involves information directly related to a request for economic development assistance, or the extension of utility services that are directly related to an economic development project on the determination that the executive session is necessary to protect the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with an economic development project.
What was that 14th word?
I missed.
Too bad.
I make motion.
Second.
Tricia, second. Roll call.
Jay,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Ezekiel, Justin,
Yes.
Eric.
Jim started throwing.
Okay, you have to leave all of your, you can't take anything back there with you.
You know I love
No paper, no phones. Can we pause this? You can't with executive session. Okay. Can you pause this?
Oh, it's gone. I drank them all.
And I wanna make can I amend my motion, or amend the motion? I would like to amend the motion to invite Wendy Hastings and our solicitor and myself back to executive session.
What if we're okay with 2 of the 3?
Hey.
Thanks, man, I appreciate it.
Hey, leave your paper out here, Jay.
Yeah, you can't take paper.
No paper.
I was bringing
I'm
this.
about to get my sweatshirt. It's cold back there. It's way warmer out here.
Take my water. It's probably 3. Patricia,
I'm
gotta
coming.
go.
Okay, I'll call you.
Yeah,
I'll send
please, you have my
Thank you.
business card. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're good. You're good, you're good.
No.
Or anything. I shouldn't have drank.